Hello everybody, this is Trina. I am getting started on another card. This one is kind of just inserted in between my beautiful rainbow card kind of series. I am sad to say that one of my customers has lost her parent due to COVID, and I know there are a lot of people out there that are in that situation, losing loved ones and friends and family, and my heart goes out to them. Like it's a rough thing, and I mean I have family members that are over the age of 60 that live with me, and you know every time I go out to go grocery shopping, which has been once in the past 2 weeks, I'm constantly thinking about it, and so anyways, I am going to make her a card. And I thought, I mean, this is my first sympathy, not so happy card. So it's kind of weird for me. So I thought I would bring you guys along, support, support the families out there, and support, because who knows, I may end up being one of those families. I don't know what the future holds. So, anyways, I thought I would bring you guys along and show you guys some techniques on the way. With something can always come from things that we deem as bad or unhappy. So I am going to send out lots of prayers and go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Love Your Story stamp set. This is available, it was in the last catalog, but they are still available. This one is the Stampin' Thincuts bundle. You can get it without the Thincuts if you want. This is kind of going to show you guys how you can use the Thincuts kind of in a different way, I guess. And then, well, I mean, it uses it the same way, but anyway, so yeah, this is what the main stamp set that I'm going to be working with. And then I pulled a sentiment thinking of you from the Chelsea Gardens card making stamp set. Now they don't offer this anymore, but they have a lot of stamp sets that have thinking of you or my, deepest sympathy, that kind of thing. And I'm going to use the stitch circles. So I did a little prep. I already cut these. These are cut at 1 inch by 4 inches. And I don't know if you can see that. It's going to be kind of, there you go. So then I cut it and I spritzed it with water just a little bit, and then I ran it through my Stitch Circles embossing folder. I didn't remember to look this up to see if they have this particular one, but they do have several others that you can use, with the same technique. So I went ahead and used that, and then these ones are cut at 1 1/8 by 4 1/8. Just because they're going to border those, and I want it to be a fairly small border. So, like I said, I've done a little bit of prep work. I will talk about that soon. I'm going to go ahead and get started on the card base prep work. So I'm going to start with the pieces here. I want to make sure I get a lot of adhesive on here so that I can make sure it stays down, because it does have, it is kind of bowed a little bit, and it does have the embossing. So I definitely want to make sure of that. And of course, some of these cut a little longer than others, or shorter than others. I don't know, it depends on how you look at it, I guess. So I just trim those off as well, and that works out perfect. The middle one is a little bit longer than the other ones, which is fine. I actually think they probably ended up all different sizes, but I kind of just pulled them from my stash and was hoping that they would fit right. I kind of tried out the layout just a little bit before I started this one, so I knew kind of what I was doing, so it didn't take quite so long. So I'm just kind of straightening these out. At first I thought it was straight, but it wasn't. So just get my T-square ruler out here and line it up and make sure they're straight. And then I'm going to go ahead and just make sure they're the same distance. Now on the left hand side, it's not going to matter whether one's longer than the others or anything, because that's going to go and the main image is going to cover it. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp Thinking of You. Now this Thinking of You is from Chelsea Gardens stamp set. I don't believe Close to My Heart offers it anymore. I don't know. They have been bringing back some from back in the day, but I think this one's actually sold out, so I don't know that they would. So yeah, there is Thinking of You. I thought this one was nice and dainty. I love the font for it. Fonts really bug me. Like it has to be right. So I went ahead and I cut these out. I stamped one and cut two others out, one out of acetate and one out of the French vanilla. And then I'm going to go ahead and color this in. Now, I'm trying to think about, let's see, the colors that I used were all of my neutrals. So I did tan blend, earth brown blend, fair skin blend, golden brown blend, and pale pink blend. That's a mouthful. Anyway, so those are I do kind of show you, but I think it's all on fast forward, so I don't know that it will, it'll show you. So, yeah, I went in with my lighter color. I added the tan blend, the second, was it the second or the first? I think it was the first one. And then I went ahead and went over with the darker pink as a tone, a PP3, I think. Maybe it was PP5. I don't remember. And then I go over the whole thing with the lighter pink again, just to get a nice blend. And I did all of this on Close to My Heart vanilla, French vanilla cardstock, and it worked out perfect. Now the trick to the stamping, I did not stamp with a color, how do I say this? An alcohol-friendly, there you go. Hey, you did see that. I held it there long enough. Nice. So I stamped it with espresso ink, water-based espresso ink from Close to My Heart. And I know some of you guys may be cringing, but I did let it fully dry. Like I let it dry overnight just because I wanted to, I was busy first off, and second, I wanted to make sure that it did stay, like it's dried, fully dried. And it worked out great. Like it acts as a like an ink that you'd use for your the intense black ink or archival black ink, and only it's in the espresso color. So that is something to think about. It didn't mix, it didn't spread, it didn't lighten, it didn't move around. I was very excited about that. I would assume though that if you put too much ink on there, it would definitely do it would move it around, but I put quite a bit on here. I did try to keep it at 3 layers or 4 layers, and then move on to the next section. But yeah, so this is I was so excited that it actually worked. Like I did not expect it to work at all, but it did. And when it did, I was ecstatic. Like, well, now I have a new thing that I can do. I can stamp in different colors. Like if I'm doing like a blue card, say, and I want to stamp my image in a blue and then let it dry, I'm going to test out that theory and see if it works with the blue as well. Like sapphire or whatever, and then you can color those. That would probably be a great way to do no line coloring as well. I'm personally not that much of a fan of no line coloring, especially when I do it, but some people can manage to make them look really pretty. I think I would have to have more exercise on it more, do it more often. So I was just kind of showing you guys that I got a little bit of brown over into the pink, and so I just took my lighter pink and I just kind of added more ink, and it pushed the brown back over where it's supposed to go. So that is a tip you can do as well. So this center flower, I was a little uncertain about the colors that I wanted to use. And then I'm thinking, you know, I don't really want to add a whole nother color to the colors that I already have. I want to keep the same amount of colors. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to make it look like a box of, you know, crayons blew up. So which obviously they're not all going to be brown and pinks, but I just don't want too many colors. I like my 3, 5s and 7s, right? I don't know. It's just something I like. So I'm trying to stick to those, and, you know, just in these color families, I have like the earth brown, the tan, and the gold brown. And those 3 are the main ones that I use. Well, not the tan. Well, I use the tan for the shade, for some of the shading, like the shading on the flowers, so or the pink flowers. So, but for the most part, I use the gold brown, the earth brown, and then the pale pink. And those are my three colors, and then I shade with whatever looks best. I did a couple of color comps before I actually started this, so hoping that it worked out better. This one, I decided to just go ahead and add in the brown and just put it in the brown tones. I didn't really need to, I didn't want to add another color to it, and so I decided to just go ahead and keep it in that same, you know, color family. And it seemed like if I went lighter there or darker there or a different color there, it was going to really draw away from like the whole thing, and I didn't want to do that, especially if I brought in another color. It would just be too much for this neutral palette. So I decided to just go ahead and put it brown, and it will, you know, kind of balance the whole image, because there's a, you know, brown on the left, brown on the right, and now there's brown in the center. So the leaves I decided to just keep in with the, what are they? The gold brown blend, and I wanted to keep those a little bit lighter. I didn't want everything quite so heavy, so I kept those on the lighter side. And they kind of match the frame, like the little gold frame that I started with first, but I kind of like that because it helps frame the bottom half of the frame, since most of that is covered by flowers. So I tried these little berry things in pink, and then I decided I don't really like it in pink. So then I decided to go over it with the, I think it was the gold brown. One of them. Probably the darkest, I think, or medium. I don't remember. And then, let's see. So now I'm going in with the, let's see, this is the earth brown, the lightest of the earth brown. And then I'm going to go over it with the mid-tone of the gold brown, which is GB. Earth brown is EB, gold brown is, wait, GB, yes. And then I put in my darker shadows and then go over it with the lighter brown, or earth brown, as well. And I'm kind of working in little pieces here, but I just love watching it come together. And you may be wondering why I'm putting the gold brown in there, because sometimes you have a brown that is not just brown. It's got more of a gold tone to it, and it just kind of reminded me of my customer. She has beautiful hair, so I kind of wanted to imitate that a little bit. I mean, it's not perfect, it's not her exact color, but I think it's really pretty. I think she kind of keeps hers more on the redder side, like the more red tone, not dark, but not bright either. So I don't have any of those markers, so this is as close as I can get. So anyways, so yeah, that's, you can see it coming together. And then I'm going to do the top knot up here. It's not really a top knot. I keep calling it a top knot because a messy bun just sounds, I don't know, it's too many words, same amount of words, too many letters. There you go, messy bun, top knot. Yeah, there you go.
That's my reasoning. I don't know. It just sounded easier to say. Um, anyway, so yeah, I'm definitely wanting to make sure that, all of the stuff down towards the center is darker because in real life that's kind of the way it would be. Go over everything with my gold brown, and bring in my darkest earth brown, and then back over with my lightest earth brown. And there's her hair all done. And a little bit of a close-up. And now I'm going to go over those with the gold brown because I didn't like them in the pink. They just kind of blended into the background and I kind of wanted them to stand out a little bit. So I did kind of leave it so that there was a little bit of pink showing. So I just literally did just a drop, and that helps kind of give it a highlight. So now I am going in and just coloring in my first layer, and it totally skipped out on me. So I did the first layer, went in with the second layer, went around, like the second, the mid-tone, and went around the, like most of the face. Anything that was going to be a lighter area I didn't. And then did my darker shadows and then went back over with the lighter. And that's pretty much the same technique that you use for the whole thing. Now, as you can see, I'm taking this a step further and cutting everything out. And I just want her to stand out against the background. So I am going to go ahead and use my liquid glass now. And we're going to put this right onto my acetate piece. And because the acetate piece was cut with the same exact die, it will be the same exact shape, which makes things so much easier, so you don't have to cut around it. You don't have to, do any fussing cutting. It's already done. So I have pre-prepped my foam adhesive, and it's kind of hard to show you. There we go. So the way to do this is you cut like 3/4 of the way through your piece, and then as you go, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. You can bend it as long as your cuts are on the outside of your bend. You can just bend it right around there and just stick it right down, and it just stays perfectly. I love it. Like, it worked so well. Look at that curve. That's so nice. Whoever came up with that idea, you are amazing. So I go ahead and add in my sequins, and then I do take some time, and for some reason every time I put them in there they flip, bottom side, heaviest side down, which means they're comparatively to this, the image that I want to show, they're upside down. So I had to spend some time flipping them all over, and then so bottoms aren't up, and then I go ahead and add this on there. And I do put a couple of random sequins here and there with glue so that they stay in place when the other ones move around. And so I'm hoping that works. I mean, liquid glass dries pretty quick, so I'm hoping that those stay. But yes, there it is. And then I'm going to go ahead and add adhesive, and I really want to go kind of hog wild on this because of the embossing and the height difference between the papers and the stiffness of the this particular element. So I'm going to go ahead and add that on there and set some weight on top and let that dry for a few. And then I am putting foam adhesive and regular adhesive onto this. Now I realized after I stuck it down the first time that I need a second helping of foam tape, and so I go ahead and stick that on there. And then I'm thinking I should probably do something with the inside, so they have some random flowers that you can make things with on the stamp set. And this stamp set is, ooh, come on, I can find it. It is Love Your Story, and it is available. on my website. I will leave the link in the description box below. And so then I thought I was done. I was like, oh wait, I forgot the bling. So I'm going to add a couple of bitty sparkles here, and I hope you guys enjoyed this card. If you did, make sure you give me a thumbs up, and I hope you guys stay safe, healthy, and have, you know, as much fun as you can while being in quarantine. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.